I was a special boy, born into a world of privilege and promise.
He was the son of Jonathan, a brave prince who was known for his valor and loyalty.
I'm the son of King Saul, the first king of Israel, a man chosen by God to lead our people.
Mephibosheth's life was full of promise, filled with the hopes and dreams that come with being born into royalty. He lived in a grand palace, surrounded by the splendor and opulence that only a royal family could afford. He had everything a young prince could ever want: luxurious clothes, the finest foods, and the best education.
Life was good for me. I spent my days exploring the vast gardens of the palace. I loved to play in the palace gardens, where the flowers bloomed in vibrant colors and the air was filled with the scent of jasmine. I loved to hear stories of my father's bravery, tales of his battles, and his unwavering loyalty to his friends and family. I was a happy child, blissfully unaware of the challenges that lay ahead. I had no idea how much my life would change, how the tides of fate would turn and reshape my destiny forever.
One day, tragedy struck. Mephibosheth's grandfather, King Saul, and his father, Jonathan, died in a great battle. The news of their deaths spread like wildfire, casting a shadow of grief over the entire kingdom. This was a very sad time. The people mourned deeply, their hearts heavy with sorrow and loss.
I was only 5 years old. I remember the day vividly, even though I was so young. My life as I knew it was over. Everything changed in an instant, and I was thrust into a world of uncertainty and fear.
In the chaos following the battle, Mephibosheth's nurse panicked. The kingdom was in turmoil and she feared for his safety. She wanted to save him. Her heart raced as she thought of the dangers that lay ahead.
I have to save him. I cannot let anything happen to him.
She picked him up, her arms trembling with the weight of responsibility, and ran. In her haste she stumbled. The ground was uneven and her footing was unsure, and fell. Mephibosheth was badly hurt. He became crippled. The fall changed his life forever, leaving him with a permanent injury that would shape his future. Mephibosheth's nurse took him to a place called Lodebar. It was a hidden place. It was a place for people who were forgotten.
I grew up in Lodebar. I lived a very different life than the one I was born into. I wondered if anyone remembered who I was. I wondered if anyone cared. I lost hope. Narrator. He was afraid. He was alone. He felt forgotten by everyone.
Meanwhile, David, a great warrior and Jonathan's best friend, became king. David loved Jonathan very much. He remembered a promise he had made to his friend. He promised to always take care of Jonathan's family. David, as S2, "Is there anyone left of Jonathan's family? I want to show them kindness." Someone told David about Mephibosheth, Jonathan's son, who was living in Lodebar. David sent for Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth was afraid to go to the king. He thought the king would hurt him. But David surprised him. David showed him great kindness. David, as S2, "Don't be afraid. I will show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will give you back all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth couldn't believe his ears. He had lived a life of obscurity, forgotten by many, and burdened by his circumstances. But in a moment everything changed. From that day forward, Mephibosheth's life changed. He was no longer the man who lived in the shadows, but someone who had been given a new identity and purpose. He was no longer forgotten. The king had remembered him, and that act of grace transformed his entire existence. He was welcomed at the king's table, a place of honor and respect, where he was treated with dignity and love. He was treated like a prince. The grace extended to him was not just a gesture, but a complete transformation of his status and life. He experienced the transformative power of grace. It was a power that could change the course of a life, lifting someone from the depths of despair to the heights of joy. God's grace is like that. It is powerful, transformative, and life-changing. It reaches out to us when we least expect it. It reaches down to us in our darkest moments. When we feel lost and alone, grace finds us and lifts us up. It lifts us from despair and gives us hope. It shows us that no matter how far we have fallen, there is always a way back. Like Mephibosheth, we are all recipients of God's amazing grace. It is a grace that knows no bounds and is available to everyone. It is a gift freely given, not because we deserve it, but because He loves us. This love is unconditional, unwavering, and ever-present, reminding us that we are never alone.